So I wanted to make a video on how I chose my post-bac and how I set it up, because it was definitely a bit overwhelming to me when I decided to switch right in the middle of my college years from finance to medicine, and I really didn't know what to do, where to look, so hopefully this gives some of you an idea. So what I did first is I went to a pre-health or a health career advisor at my school, and she recommended that I look at AMC post-baccalaureate programs as a website. And what I found is they have a lot of good information on explaining just what post-bacs are, whether they're good for you, and then their benefits, and just basically anything to help you understand whether it's the right thing for you to do. So then the way she explained it to me is that there are two types, the two major types, and it's the academic record enhancing ones to boost your GPA, or the career changer ones. So a career changer is me, since I was a finance major in school, and junior year I decided I don't really want to do this, I'm thinking of studying medicine, and there were, it's not like I just switched my mind like that, finance, and no, actually I want to do medicine. There were different things that I did and was exposed to that made me feel like medicine would be something that I'd like to pursue. So yeah, it wasn't just a spur of the moment decision. But so what I did is I went on this website, and then I filtered my searches for, I was looking for schools that were for career changers or that offered a program for career changers. And then what I did is I made a list of a few schools in my area, because I really didn't want the extra expenses of the school being far from where I live, so then I'd have to rent an apartment or whatever, and that would just be an extra cost, and I didn't want to do that. So then after I had my list of schools that I wanted to look into, I looked at how many months the school wants you to be enrolled in their program, because some of them say that like a 5-month commitment is fine, but then others are like, okay, it's got to be at least a year, and then what classes specifically the program offered, what classes they considered mandatory, and what the per credit tuition would be for that school. So then, based on my area that I'm living in now, I narrowed my list of schools down to American University, Georgetown University, and University of Maryland. So then I looked at each program individually, and I went to UMD to talk to the head of the post-bac program. And first of all, they only offered classes in the evenings, and because of that, the program director told me that it would take me a couple years to complete this post-bac when I intended to complete it in a year or a little over a year, and she said it would be, I think she told me it would be at least 3 years. So I was like, no, no thank you. So then, looking at Georgetown, I looked at the courses that they listed as mandatory for you to take if you're enrolled in their program, and I'm going to have a little clip after this showing how I broke it down and all the courses that they required. And since I switched my career path, I didn't want to take all those courses that are considered important but are recommended, like cell bio or molecular bio or anatomy, because mostly medical schools really care that you have your bios, your chemistries, your orgos, your physics, and biochem. And that's usually the only sciences that are really required. So then when I added up what the tuition would be for all those mandatory courses at Georgetown, it came out to be over $70,000 that I would be spending just to get my prereqs, and I really didn't want to do that. So then the last school on my list was American University, AU, and I actually came very close to joining their post-bac program, but I did hesitate a little because I felt like I wanted to compare an actual post-bac program to what it would be like if I took these prereqs that I had to take on my own outside of a program. I have a really good community college in my area that I've heard very good things about, and that I had multiple friends take classes there. And this community college has multiple campuses in the area, and they have a variety of courses. So I looked at the classes that I had left to take, which was 7 classes, 7 prereqs for med school. And then I basically calculated the cost of what it would be to take those 7 at AU versus to take them at Montgomery College, which is a community college in my area. And that came out to be, at AU, my tuition would be over $30,000, and at MC it came out to be a little less than $6,000, so that was over a $20,000 difference between the two. And my goal was definitely to save as much as I could on tuition, since I already was enrolled in college and was already gonna finish off this major that I knew I didn't really want to do anything with, so I still had to do a post-bac, and then I still have to pay my way through med school, so I really didn't want to spend too much money on just the post-bac program. So I basically ended up going with the community college route, and basically being my own boss, creating my own schedule on my own time, and I've been really, really happy with this choice so far. And I know that there is a negative stigma around community colleges and taking classes at community colleges, but I just really think that you shouldn't rule it out before you try it and look into it just because of popular opinions, because I still find the classes challenging, and I've taken 3 classes so far. So I would say definitely don't rule out taking classes and basically doing your post-bac at a community college. Look into it, visit the campus, meet with some of the advisors, and see if this might be a good place for you. I've also already met other people that are on the same track that are also career changers and are taking their medical school prereqs at the community college, so you're definitely not going to be alone if you choose that path, and it's really about figuring out what's right for you. So I hope this helped get a little bit of an idea of what post-bacs are and the choices that are out there for you for this. And if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments and I will get to them as soon as I can. Another thing I heard about and I did look into are post-bac programs at schools where if you do well enough in the curriculum that they have for you and maintain a certain GPA, then those schools will not require an MCAT from you, or they will require an MCAT from you, and you have to get a certain score. But then you won't even have to apply to those schools. You will just automatically filter through, because they already know that you went through their curriculum, and if you did well, they kind of know where you stand. And the schools that I know have that type of post-bac was Columbia University and Johns Hopkins. So that's a different route that you could take, and in that way you would avoid having to apply to these schools. You just have to make sure that you do well and maintain that GPA. The reason I decided to not do that though was also for reasons of cost, and it was further away from home for me, so I would have to also live there, so all of that just added up to be a lot more than I wanted to spend. Also, I'm really sorry for everything that's going on in the background. It's kind of a mess. This was the only place that I could film at.